the question is asked to the kid, can you please smile like grandma? Child will smile. AI behaves in the same manner. So AI needs training, teaching. AI is being trained. Then we need to ask questions, give commands, give instructions, or raise questions. Then AI will respond, like the way how a kid is responding. In order to do that, the AI system again has to be taught in which situation, when you receive which question, what prompt. So AI system should think rationally, apply logic by understanding the context, then accordingly behave. Then we may be able to compare human intelligence and machine intelligence. Then what's the AI system? When we talk about AI system, we also talk together with AI system machine learning. So how these two are connected? That's a question for you. Please answer this question. What's the relationship between AI and ML? Right. Let's look at the answers. Okay, majority of you answered AI is a broader concept while ML is an application of AI. No, that's not correct. ML is a subset of AI. AI has much more than ML. And hence, ML is a subset of AI becomes the answer. It is not AI is a subset of ML. So the second option is the answer. Now let us look at what AI has apart from ML and what ML is. This term was coined by Samuel Arthur, who was an IBM employee at that point in time in 1959. It is about the machine learning something, and that learning is used by another system, which is combined with the machine learning and makes predictions or performs tasks. So that learning of the machine is what is known as machine learning. When machines have to learn, some of the aspects we need to be aware of, they need huge data sets. I mentioned to you, an AI system will have to be taught. When an AI system needs training, it is basically learning. That learning is enabled by machine learning, for which it requires huge amounts of data, huge amounts of memory, computing power, etc. And hence, couple of things here. I asked a question earlier, why AI did not come into the forefront so far. We did not talk about it for decades because we did not have those days adequate amount of computing power. We did not have adequate amount of data for the machines to learn or AI systems to learn. And we also did not have the kind of internet we do have today, because these services are delivered via the internet most of the times. So where they differ or where they get connected, in addition to ML, AI also includes the ability to process natural language, the ability to understand natural language, NLU and NLP. Then it can represent knowledge, it can capture knowledge and use the knowledge when needed. It can plan, it can do an analysis and use the knowledge it has already captured and use that to make predictions or perform tasks. In robotics also, like artificial limbs, artificial legs, or maybe surgical robots, robotics also may be involved in AI apart from ML. So they are connected, but not the same. So we understand now AI is posing lots of risks. It is challenging human beings in various different ways. At the same time, it is helping, it is supporting human life. So when certain AI systems are posing risks to the humankind, we need to address them in a systematic manner. In order to address the AI-related concerns in a systematic manner, we need a framework. That framework is provided by ISO IEC 42001:2023. So that is the AMS standard. Yeah. How can you describe? I already described the standard for you, but look at it. Which will be an appropriate answer? Yes, let's look at the answers. A majority of you answered it's a standard that prescribes a set of regulations an organization will have to follow to use AI solutions responsibly and ethically. It is not proposing or prescribing a set of regulations. Rather, it captures a set of best practices. Look at the second option. It is a standard that helps an organization to deal with AI solutions responsibly and ethically. It helps. It is recommending a set of good practices that an organization can voluntarily adopt and demonstrate to stakeholders that they are following through a certification. So that standard is 42001. It is not proposing a set of regulations. In order to ensure ethical and responsible use of AI, one way is to voluntarily adopt the standard, implement the best practices captured in the standard, or there could be a regulation or multiple regulations existing in the country, in the region, which will be enforced on organizations, and the organizations will have to demonstrate their compliance to those regulations. There are two ways. Interestingly, in order to demonstrate adherence to the compliance requirements, the standards can propose again good practices. There is where the significance of 42001. Like any other ISO standard or ISO IEC standard, this also is aligned to PDCA. It proposes a set of requirements and also a set of guidelines. It is a requirements and guideline standard both together. Generally, ISO releases two types of standards. One is requirement against which a certification is possible. The other is guideline standards to help meeting the requirements specified in the requirement standard, which is not used for certification purposes. Here, this standard has got both elements together. Now, for whom the standard is applicable? Who are the intended users of the standard? The intended users of the standard are basically three types of organizations. One, an organization which is developing AI system. Two, an organization which is using AI systems. Third, an organization which is a service provider using AI systems in order to deliver their services. Whenever an organization is wanting to implement 42001, when I say implementing, demonstrate meeting the requirements of 42001 standard, they need to identify their role. It is extremely important for any organization to understand, identify their role to ensure that their risks are appropriately addressed. That's the other thing we need to understand. AIMS is nothing but artificial intelligence risk management framework or standard, nothing else. AIMS is a risk management system, a risk management framework established by an organization. How the standard is structured? The standard has got 10 sections or clauses. We popularly call it clauses. These 10 clauses, out of the 10, 1, 2, 3 are only for information. The actual requirements will be captured from clause number 4 through 10. like any other requirement standard, following high-level structure, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 are capturing the requirements. Then there is one Annex A, which is having a set of AI-related risk controls proposed by the standard as good practice. That again, an organization can decide which are the ones that are applicable to them, then implement. Here also, this Annex A, based on the Annex A statement of applicability is prepared. Like 27,001, such a requirement is existing here as well. Then Annex B is the control explanation, which is a guideline part of it. Annex C is providing some guidance on the objectives and risk sources. When the organization is setting their objectives and identifying their risks, Annex C is providing some guidance. Then how AIMS can be used for different domains. That guidance is provided by Annex D. This is how the standard is structured. You will find the same structure of any other ISO standard. One more question for you. How important is risk management in AIMS? This should be a very easy question for you to answer because I've already answered. Let us look at. Yeah, majority of you answered correctly. It is 100% based on risk assessment and about managing those risks assessed. So like any other ISO requirement standard, this also has got the same structure called high-level structure, 10 sections, then Annex A to D. One more question for you to think about. Interestingly, 42,001 standard may not enable an organization fully to produce a very robust, comprehensive AIMS. The reason, it is implicitly expecting referring to various other supplementing supporting standards, without which AIMS creation may not be complete and effective. If an organization wants to really have a robust AIMS created, apart from 42,001, that is a basic framework, they need to also refer to other standards and frameworks. So that is the answer. You have rightly provided majority of you. It may require ISO IEC 23894 kind of standards, which is an AI risk management standard, without which, if you try to create an AIMS, that will not be that effective. So where AIMS can be positioned, I made a statement earlier, it shouldn't be compared with any other management system standard. It is inappropriate, except the structure, because the intent of the standard is different. An organization may be having a QMS, an SMS, ISMS, PIMS, and now AIMS. This AIMS will intersect with, interact with, interfere with, overlap with many other management systems. It has connections. They're all interrelated, interconnected. One is not a subset of another. If at all you want to say that I am making a very solid statement, it can be only a subset of SMS, because an AI system is part of the service portfolio. And hence AI system must be managed like any other service with certain additional controls. Those controls are proposed by AIMS. It must not be compared with ISMS. And ISMS is needed. That's the title of this entire webinar, Future of AI Security. AI poses various kinds of security threats. One of the major concerns, primarily privacy, then security. Privacy is also a subset of security. So AI systems pose concerns on security. And hence, the organization will have to implement additional controls in order to address the security-related risks posed by AI systems. The traditional security mechanisms may not be sufficient. Then Annex A. Annex A has got 38 controls under 10 control objectives under 9 domains. So that is how it is structured. The control structure, these are the 9 domains, and domain A.6 has got 2 control objectives, making it totally 10 control objectives, and each of them has got certain specific controls. Now, what could be those standards that can supplement support the creation of AIMS? ISO 24028, fundamentally, because this is a standard that is talking about trustworthiness. If an AI system is not trustworthy enough, use of such an untrustworthy AI system is not responsible and ethical. That responsible use is a requirement of 42001. I mentioned to you multiple times, that is repeated. In order to be responsibly developing and using, we need to understand various elements. One of them is trustworthiness. How can we make the AI system trustworthy enough? What could be the typical use cases? 24030 is providing guidance on that. Again, depending on the role of the organization, they can pick and choose whatever is in supportive of making their AIMS. 27563. It is security and privacy in AI use cases best practices. So what could be the security and privacy related best practices? 23053 is providing an AI framework. When an organization wants to develop AI ML systems, how they can do that? What are the system components? That recommendation is provided by the standard 23053. Then 29119, 22989, it's a vocabulary standard. So there are various for software. At the end of the day, an AI system is also a software system. And hence, anything that is applicable to any software will be applicable to AI system as well, plus more, something more. Another significant standard is 24368, which is providing an overview of ethical and societal concerns. These are the primary concerns society has, individuals have, then the groups of individuals have. There are 3 primary stakeholders 42001 is talking about. So what are those societal and ethical concerns is what the standard 24368 deals with. Without understanding this, without incorporating this, without addressing this, creating an AI system, AIMS will not be effective enough, fruitful enough. That's the point. Again, laws and regulations like EU AI Act, they may stipulate certain types of use of AI. They may even prohibit certain types of uses of AI. All this can be achieved by using the concepts outlined in the standard. Another is when AI systems are to leverage big data analytics, 24668 standard provides some guidance. On IT governance, AI systems may impact the IT governance in various ways. 38507 standard, which is part of the 38500 series of standards, is providing some guidance on how the implications on IT governance can be addressed. Then 24027, it is talking about bias. Another very major risk in AI systems is the bias it can show. This bias, non-discrimination, and fairness. That is the theme of 24027 standard, which is again an important standard an organization may want to consider when they want to ethically, responsibly develop and use AI. 25010 is again software system and quality model standard, providing guidance on quality model, data quality model 25012, part of the same series, Square series. So there are various such standards can be used by an organization while building their AIMS, depending on what exactly they develop and what they do and their role. 5338 is another standard which is talking about AI system lifecycle. AI system lifecycle can be compared with SDLC, but it is not exactly SDLC, it's slightly beyond that. It's not the traditional SDLC. Hence, This standard is providing what are the life cycle phases of AI systems and what activities are typically performed in those life cycle phases. That's a wonderful standard. Any organization which is into the development or the use of AI can use that standard while building their AIMS. So if you look at this, you will be convinced, you will be able to understand it may not be really possible to create an effective AIMS without using such supplementary, complementary standards. Another question for you. Yeah, obviously, I mentioned to you, majority of you rightly answered. The second option is the answer to that question. See, there is a standard which is talking about the AI use cases. ISO has created a panel. They have come up with certain application domains and created use cases. That standard can be straight away used by any organization or can be used as a template when they want to create. Any organization wants to create their use case to present to various stakeholders. So what would be the considerate elements? What an organization will have to consider when they really want to be responsible and ethical? They need to have an understanding of ethical frameworks. They need to understand the impact on human rights practices, privacy, safety, security, respect for the rule of the law. All these areas are impacted. Addressing all these areas may make an AI system responsible and ethical. The standard 24368 becomes very instrumental in making us understand those concepts. So that's a wonderful standard. Any organization which may want to ensure they are using AI, developing AI in an ethical and responsible manner, they may want to use a standard, guidance provided by the standard. It is extremely important to ensure trustworthiness in AI. 24028 standard provides some guidance on how the trustworthiness can be brought in AI systems. So when building AIMS, one of the development process, you may want to consider when an AI system is being developed or used, how the trustworthiness can be brought in. An AI system must be transparent enough, explainable enough, controllable enough, available enough, resilient enough, should be reliable, safe, secure, and privacy must always be ensured. These are some of the aspects of the trustworthiness. If all these are met, we may say an AI system is trustworthy enough. Then there are various societal concerns. An AI system, when it is using huge amounts of power, huge computing power, and when it requires huge storage space, it may emit heat, it may emit carbon, it will consume a lot of water. So society has concerns related to the use of AI. I gave 3 examples, but there could be many other societal concerns. Sometimes it may be denying certain services to certain kinds of people in the society. So when an AI system is being developed or used, the organization, if they are responsible and ethical enough, they will have to consider all these elements. So the standards 24368 and 24028, they help. So what is the AIMS roadmap? First, the organization will have to determine their role. Are they developers, users, or service providers? Then define all the policies, process. You may start with a gap assessment, but if you think there is nothing that is significantly in place, there is no point in doing a gap assessment. Otherwise, a gap assessment can be performed. A thorough risk assessment is to be performed. 42001 emphasizes on risk assessment and also an AI system impact assessment. These 2 activities are inevitable and to be done religiously. 42006 is the AI system or AIMS auditing standard. It emphasizes in many instances, a proper risk assessment must have been performed by the organization, that to be ensured by an auditor, then undergo audits. So we do have we do have various trainings related to 42001 based AIMS. So we do have lead auditor training, lead implementer training. Lead audit is 5 days, lead implementer is 4 days. And I can bet our course is most comprehensive in the market, and no other course with pride, we can say, is covering as much as we cover. We give the learners a very comprehensive knowledge. It is not creating an awareness on 42001 standard, rather it is imparting knowledge on 42001 standard. That's how we have created this course very passionately. So once you complete the lead auditor course, you will get auditor/lead auditor on AIMS, ISO IC 42001 2023. Similarly, we do have lead implementer certification as well. You may touch base with Joseph to get the schedule information. Can be individuals can attend, and organizations can also conduct their premises or online sessions. Right.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Ayulur. So we will now begin with our Q&A session. Please use the chat option in the Q&A window to ask question. So moving on with here's the first question. How to practically perform ISO IEC 42001 audit effectively, or what are the key steps to it?
Yeah. In order to do the audit effectively, you may want to use the standard title ISO IEC 42006 2025. Again, as I mentioned to you, our course also will give you a good understanding of how the standard can be used. And we are the only ones who is teaching 42006 standard. It is not like 1911. This is an AIMS auditing standard. Yes, you can go ahead with your, because there are so many questions here. I'm not sure we will be able to handle.
We will move, we'll move to the next question. How business continuity is impacting you to AI, and how to handle them as part of BCP?
There is no very specific mention of continuity in the standard. However, we understand that's the reason I told you AI systems are services. When or to deliver services. When we talk about services, one of the element in the service management is service continuity. That is where BCMS will play a role. Though AIMS standard does not explicitly demand a business continuity plan, it is implicit. In order to continue to deliver the AI system services, there must be a continuity plan in place. That is implicit. Next.
Next question is, how does AI risk differ from other risks?
Yes. AI systems have impact on human safety, security, privacy. Then an AI system will have risks related to explainability, transparency, trustworthiness. It should ensure non-discrimination. It should ensure non-bias. It should be fair. All these are risk areas. This is how it becomes different from others. There are three primary stakeholders: individuals, groups, and societies. Each of them will have their own expectations. The risks will be on their expectations in terms of when I use, for example, Copilot, I will expect that to be transparent to me. So Microsoft has got transparency related risk expected by, which is expected by any stakeholder, any user, as simple as that. Similarly, there are numerous risks related to. In our classes, we explain those risks specifically. We also cover 23894 standard in the class. That's how it becomes. I keep hearing about organizations